Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alicia.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Rachel.
Welcome to episode 141 of Adventures and Mousecapades. This week, we are talking about nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're just going to sit here and you can listen to us breathe for 45 minutes.
I don't think that's as compelling as you think it is.
I broke both of them. This is awesome.
I've had people tell me before that I have a really amazing podcast voice and that I'd be good on ASMR, but I don't think this is how I want to break into that field.
Yeah, but you have to like whisper for ASMR, whatever the heck it is. I
don't want to do that.
And do like nail clicky things.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Escape, abort.
Okay, what are we talking about this week?
This week, we are joined by someone very special to us. She's been on our podcast a couple times already, and I think she's our first three-peat guest. Two more, and you get the jacket, Rachel.
There's a jacket?
There is now.
No.
We'll send you a sticker.
That we can do.
Yeah, exactly. Rachel was with us for episode 91, Wishful Thinking, about the Wish, and 116, which was the Disney Wonder in the South Pacific. Those are awesome episodes. And she and her best friend, Bill, have absolutely been mentioned on several more episodes along the way, too.
We won't talk about all of those.
No.
We have Rachel from HR on, that's a very niche joke, sorry y'all, to share some of her Disney history with us. She is a Disney College Program alum from back in the day and spent a number of years as a full-time cast member. She even met her husband and got married at Disney World. We've had her other half, Bill, on, but it's time to point the spotlight in Rachel's direction. So, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. We're so glad to finally shed some light on the amazingness that is Rachel from HR, to share you with the world.
Rachel from HR.
Yeah.
Love it. You have to go back to the other episode if you don't know what we're talking about.
Yes.
That's right. All right, so can you remind us a little bit about your Disney history? I know in one of our previous episodes with you, we've kind of gone over this, but just as a brief review, if for all of our new listeners, how the heck did you get involved with Disney as a kid? Like, was it just like Disney Channel? Was it Mouser Size every morning? Like, what was your story?
Listen, I wish. Growing up, I was only allowed to watch TV for an hour a day. And I chose to use my 1 hour to watch Saved by the Bell. You're welcome.
Nice.
Yep.
Gotta get some Zach and Slater in there.
Yes. We did not have the Disney Channel. So I may have seen it like at a family member's house when we were traveling, but for the most part, it was just movies. And we went to Disneyland actually when I was a kid. And then I got to go to Disney World when I was a kid, and then Disney World when I graduated from high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for college, you went to Baylor.
I
Go
did.
Bears.
Sick 'em Bears.
Sick 'em Bears. How did you get interested in the Disney College Program?
Okay, so I'm going to date myself here. I was in college during 9/11, and we all know the world got turned upside down, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay in school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do or where this world was going. And they had flyers up all over the campus about come learn about Disney College Program. And I was like, why not? Let's go. And so a couple of my friends went and interviewed and got offered the job and never looked back because I loved the product. I loved Disney, and I was just ready for something different.
Yeah.
Given everything that had just happened.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What role or roles did you have on your college program? Some people have done it twice. Did you only do one stint or?
So I did one regular college program, and then I did 2 professional college programs.
Oh, wow.
So I did 3. I mean, I don't know if that's overachiever or, third time's a charm or. dropout. I don't know. So my first college program, which is that year, right after 9/11, I was assigned to food and beverage at what we all know well as MGM Studios, now known as Hollywood Studios. And I sold turkey legs and Budweiser beer. Don't be jealous. I worked at Sunset Market Ranch, which is that whole kind of like food court area, if you will, right in front of Tower of Terror.
And this is why you have such a fond likeness for turkey legs to this day.
I hate them. I won't eat one. And if you're with me, we're not getting one either.
We will occasionally send you pictures from the parks when we pass a turkey leg cart.
But in solidarity, we don't actually buy one.
No.
Thank you. Perfect.
You're welcome. You're
Love
welcome.
it. I mean, we also sold everything. Rosie's is there, Eddie's. So you used to get pizza. You could get the produce cart, Fry Facts, right? McDonald's French fries. You know, a wide variety of stuff. So we had some fun.
So what were your 2 professional programs?
I came back and worked in marketing. So have you ever seen we call them Mickey vans, but the Disney wrapped vans that drive around? And basically what I was in charge of doing was refilling all of the pamphlets in all of the hotels. So like for all the parks and water parks and everything that's going. And then we made friends with the sales ticket people. But basically we went from hotel to hotel refilling that every day.
Oh, wow. That sounds fun.
It had its moments, but I drove a Mickey van, right? So it's kind of cool. You can get anywhere you want if you're driving a Mickey van. And then the second one, I came back and I did a sales internship for the Disney Vacation Club. And I worked at the Preview Center at Saratoga Springs.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have yet to be over there. I've never.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Never seen it.
You should go. And they have like setups, like they used to have Alani. So you literally walk into this room and it literally looks like you're in Alani. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Huh.
We are staying down there in November. So maybe be able to do that.
I'll take you.
Awesome.
They'll give you free ice cream or something. I think there's an ice cream parlor.
So what led you to come back to Disney as a career?
Well, remember the whole segue at the beginning when you said I met my husband?
Yeah.
I met my husband selling turkey legs. I did return to Baylor, and then I came back for those other multiple internships really as an excuse to come back down and see him. And then I decided after I graduated from Baylor, I was going to go and find a full-time job, and we were going to get married. So I graduated in December, moved down here. We got married in March, and I got a full-time job at the company in June, I believe.
Got it. And you were selling turkey legs again?
No. So I got a job actually at Saratoga Springs.
Okay.
Hence I had a good network working there. But I took a job in finance.
Huh.
Yeah, no. Do you want to see me with spreadsheets? I think not. Took a job in finance. It was great.
So what was kind of your career progression? Like, how did you become Rachel from HR? Because I know you had a bunch of different roles. You were at some of the other hotels at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, I make friends.
Yeah.
So when I worked at Saratoga and I worked in the finance office, I didn't like it. So I just made friends with everyone else there. And they have an HR team at Saratoga Springs. And there was a position that became available, and they do what they call a TA. So it's called a temporary assignment.
Mm-hmm.
It basically lets you try something out and then see if it's a good fit for you or not. And so I was the first one to raise my hand and said, hey, look, I'm already here. I already work at the resort. Use me. And they gave me the opportunity. So I took a TA to do HR at Saratoga Old Key West because they're a combined region, if you will.
Okay.
So I supported both. And then very quickly, there was a full-time opening at Pop Century, and I took that. So I basically got into HR and never turned around.
Awesome. What does HR look like when you're at a resort like that?
It's very fun. When you think HR, you think kind of all the generalist things that go with it. My particular role was more like the fun side of HR. So I got to do like the cast recognition. Everything was about the cast. Mm-hmm. So when you go to Disney World, obviously it's about you as the guest. They do such a great job on the backside taking care of the cast members, right?
Oh, wow.
Because if we don't take care of the cast, they're not going to take care of our guests.
Right.
Yeah.
So we get to throw them parties, we get to recognize them, and we get to, guest comments and feedback. We kind of sort through that and then recognize the cast members at those resorts. We get to throw parties. I already said that, but it was like the fun part, like communication, what's going on, what's coming, like simple things like marathon. There's going to be road closures. Make sure you go to work a different way so that you're not late, things like that. You don't think about the cast needs, right? The telecast, which is I don't know if they still print that or not, but it's like the Mac Daddy information that every cast member always had in their pocket. We would print those and update those for the resorts. So yeah, I mean, a lot went into it, but think more of the fun side.
Yeah.
Did every resort have their own HR person or team?
Yeah, so every resort had someone in my role, which was kind of like a resort operations HR role. The parks would have multiples because it was a bigger cast base. And then we also had my leader at the time, she would handle more of the compliance piece of it, right?
Okay.
So if there was any type of investigation or hard conversations that need to happen, those went through her. I was still early on in my career, so I was learning, and I would take every opportunity to learn that, but that was her role.
Yeah. How many cast members are at it's hard to say like an average resort, but like kind of what does it take to, how many bodies does it take to, host hundreds of rooms at a resort?
Yeah. And I don't remember exactly, but like Old Key West Saratoga was a cast base of around 2,000.
Wow.
And then Pop Century is combined with Caribbean Beach, or it was at the time. And that was probably closer to 3,000.
Wow.
Yeah. You're talking a lot of people.
Yeah. I would imagine a lot of that is housekeeping.
Housekeeping, food and beverage, maintenance teams. Let's see. They each have their own costuming location, right? So where you can go get your uniforms for the day. HR, and then you have your operations host and front desk. I'm thinking of all the different. Yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah,
there's a lot of people.
Wow.
Recreation. Oh, recreation's a big one. If you think about all the lifeguards,
Got it.
If you're at a resort that has other things like boating, canoeing, fishing, those casts just get bigger, or groups get bigger. Yeah.
Where else did you work?
Okay, I said Saratoga, Old Key West, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, Wilderness Lodge, Fort Wilderness. That was my favorite. And then Coronado Springs.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
I believe I remember you tried for a position on one of the ships, right?
I did. I wanted to take the HR role on, it was just the Magic and the Wonder back then. But I actually got to interview face-to-face on both the Magic and the Wonder for the same role. They ended up not choosing me, but in hindsight, that was probably better. I got to stay home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Continue my career with parks and resorts. So hindsight was probably better. But Wilderness Lodge, Fort Wilderness, man, I used to joke and call it like boots to suits. Because you could wear boots at the fort, but then I was probably had a suit jacket for Wilderness Lodge, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the place where I really felt part of the leadership team. Like the GM at those resorts was just like, look, here's a seat at the table. I want you here. You're important to this team. And it was so much like a family environment.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
That's leadership.
Plus there's horses.
That's the mark of good leadership, a good manager, though, that
Yes.
listens to voices and does bring people in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take an opportunity to have a little tangent. We actually got to have a small interaction with the GM at the Disneyland hotel a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And we were just kind of wondering, like, what is the org structure at the resorts? And we talked a little bit offline, Disney World's very different from Disneyland, but they're somewhat similar. Like, what is the org structure within the resort side of Disney? Like, sounds like there's a general manager over like a specific property. And then is there like a VP over all of Disney World, or is there multiple steps above? Like, how does that work?
Well, so back in the day, it may have changed, right? Because
Sure.
You're right. There's a GM now. I think they call it proprietor.
Okay.
But so there's one person in charge of, normally it's a region or it's at least 2 resorts that they would kind of have line of sight to. And then they had a senior leader for each department.
Right.
So engineering, housekeeping, food and beverage, merchandise. I forgot that one earlier. Recreation, and then just general guest services. So they'd have a senior leader in all of those departments, and they were in charge of everything: their financials, their hiring, their, upkeep of the resort, maintenance, making sure that they stay on top of everything that's included in running that resort.
Yeah.
And then they reported up then to the vice president of resorts. At the time. And then I believe there was even somebody else that was over like Walt Disney World, which would include obviously the parks and the resorts.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's probably at Disneyland somebody over all 3 properties. Well, it's a lot smaller.
Well,
that Disney resort though is so huge. I would think maybe 1 for that.
The dude we talked to, he had said we looked it up on LinkedIn or something.
Yes.
Like he was Disneyland Hotel and the DVC, the Villas at Disneyland Hotel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he had spent like 13 or 14 years as the GM for Grand Californian and had just moved over like a couple months, like maybe back in April or something like that, to Disneyland, the hotel.
We were just wondering what the like career trajectory was.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So, as we're hobnobbing on our D23 trip
Right?
with all these fancy people, we were just trying to gauge who we're talking to here. I mean, he wasn't Joe Rohde, so whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, I think if you get experience in any type of resort, right, you would obviously want to branch out and learn other resorts. Here in Florida, there's so many other options with deluxe and DVC and the moderate worth the value. You kind of want to like do all of those things, and then then you're more attractive for the next level.
Yep. That was kind of what my thinking was too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pull back a little bit to something we talked about earlier, because you met your significant other at Disney and you guys got married at Disney too. What was it like getting married at Disney as a cast member?
Have you ever wondered what it was like to be a princess? That's what
awesome.
It felt like. It was my dream. Like my dream was to get married at Disney. I think I even told you guys at one point when I came in high school, right? I walked up to Cinderella's carriage because we had gone to the Grand Floridian. They told that story.
Yeah.
And my mom took a picture. Like I had that picture and I was like, someday I'm going to get married. Now scrap the carriage. Couldn't do that part, right? Some things are out of the budget constraints. But we were both cast members at the time. So they do offer some cast member discounts. You do have to get married in the middle of the week. There are, there's some caveats, but that's okay. So our wedding was on a Thursday. We used the wedding pavilion that you all know and love that's at the Grand Floridian. And then we went from there to Epcot, and we had our reception at the Living Seas upstairs. There's an actual private room up there. So it's in the aquarium. And then we did a firework viewing at the UK spot, right, where they can rope that off. So it's private. And normally, because, Epcot's busy, they take everybody backstage. So they would take you from one place to the next backstage. And I was like, listen, I'm a cast member. I want to walk it. And they said, well, you can walk it, but you have to have like the little tour guides with the little light with you. So you look like you're on a tour. I was like, I don't care. That's fine. They can come with me. It's fine. Still take the bus in case some of my guests want to like have a ride, but I'm walking it.
Right.
Can I just tell you, walking in a wedding dress through Epcot and with half my wedding party, right? And they all have cocktails and we're having a great time. But like all of the people that would like stop and applaud were the little girls that were like, Mom, it's a real princess. And I was like, oh my God. That was like everything. And then, we walked there, we get to the little private area and they did illuminations just for me, of course. And my photographer was fantastic and they had it all set up and knew how to do it with the shutter so they could get the fireworks. And those are my favorite pictures of the whole day.
That's so awesome. That's so special.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but I only had about We had like 55. I feel like that's a pretty small wedding,
Yeah.
like around 55 people. But food was great. Everything was great. My surprise to him, because he didn't think we could do it, but I had Mickey come, and Mickey took pictures with my entire wedding party and guests during the reception.
That's fun.
That's perfect. Very, very cool. Nice.
So, icing on the cake. Princess for a day, for sure. So if you ever get the opportunity, or you ever want to renew your vows, do it.
We were gonna
tried.
renew our vows in Hawaii in 2020.
Yeah.
And
that
then,
didn't-
you know,
that didn't
the
happen.
world shut down
Didn't
again.
happen. Yep. Maybe 30th. Oh no, but that's
There you go.
everything like timing just is not great. 25, that's next year, and we've already got everything scheduled for next year. 30th is Sterling's graduation, so I don't know. And we have big plans for graduation.
Oh, do you already know what they are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to Japan.
Oh, we're going to have to
We're
talk.
going to go on the Japan cruise ship, and then we're going to visit Tokyo Disney Sea.
No.
Yes.
Does he know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because Caitlin's was a surprise. So
Yeah.
that's not too far-fetched for me to ask. Okay.
No, he's specifically asked for that. And because he knew that Caitlin got something, he's like, you guys are going to do something for me. I know you are. I'm like, yeah, we will. And he's like,
Of course, I'm like,
Tokyo.
you got to graduate first.
Yeah.
But, you're going into
that's
seventh
awesome.
grade. Let's just
Yeah.
like temper, like you got to get there.
We may be able to keep the cruise from him, but the parks, no, he knows about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
But that
If you guys
is
want to crash the party,
years-
come along.
Years away.
I got some years to budget for that one. Okay.
Yeah.
You have a couple of years to plan.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
killing me. Killing me.
All right. So we know you've moved on from the company since,
Yes,
but you still live in the area, obviously.
I do.
What does Disney mean to you now? Are you able to enjoy the parks as a regular guest? Do you still see the behind the curtain view of things that, like, are you able to enjoy it?
So yes, I think my favorite place now is probably Disney Springs.
Okay.
There's just the shopping and the food, and it's like for a night out, right?
Yeah.
We did not renew our annual passes after 2020.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm a little bit more limited as to how often we go and when we go. It's
Yeah.
also really hot, and I'm not going right now. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say, and I maybe I'm skipping ahead, but just last month I went with Heather and we took our nieces out to Disneyland, and I
Yeah.
will tell you that was all I needed. Like that was perfect.
Yeah.
It reminded me of what made me fall in love with Disney to begin with,
Hmm.
and it was just so like everything was perfect. Like I never had a bad experience with a cast member. We rode everything we wanted to ride. We did everything we wanted to do. And it felt like home. Like it felt Disney.
Yeah.
And I think I miss that from Orlando sometimes.
Yeah. So Heather's another one of our friends in the group.
Yeah.
So who went with you? Great segue, by the way. Your check's in the
thanks.
mail. Yeah.
That was our
Thanks.
next. Yes.
So it was actually Heather's niece, Brooke. And then
Okay.
because Brooke and Heather do something every summer, it's kind of like their thing. She's like, I want to go somewhere big. Like I want to go on a trip. And so she's like, I think Brooke actually picked it. She's like, let's go to Disneyland. And Heather's like, fine, but if you're going to bring a friend, I'm bringing a friend. So she called. She's like, listen, Brooke's bringing a friend. Let's go. And I was like, I'm in. So the four of us went and we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and the room was gorgeous. I mean, I literally, I think it was the first day we were there. We were riding Small World.
Yeah.
And I leaned over to her. The girls couldn't hear us. And I was like, listen, this is amazing. This is everything. We're having so much fun. I said, let's stay another day. And she's like, okay. So we changed our plans mid-cycle and booked the hotel another night and stayed. It was so much fun. And it was so much fun getting to see it through their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get that a lot, but their excitement level, and I was just like one of the kids. I think Heather probably had more problems trying to control me than them sometimes. I'm literally at one point running through California Adventure to try to go see Joy. Like, I wanted to
Oh,
see
yeah.
Joy from Inside Out. And if
Yeah.
I didn't get to, I was going to lose my mind. And she was like, who are you? I was like, let's go.
How old were the girls that you were with?
14.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, they were like little adults. They thought
Yeah.
they were little adults. And I was way more lenient than Heather, let's just say. And she might not listen to this. So Heather was like, they had to be in her line of sight at all times. They were not allowed to go anywhere. And I was
Yeah.
like, we're at Disneyland. You go. Like, I was like, go. Which I finally got through her head like on day 3 or 4, because I was like, hey, there's a bar on the corner. They can go ride that. It's fine. And she was like, oh, okay, thank God. Like, it was rough.
amazing.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've ever walked that much in my life.
It's a lot. When was the last time you'd been to Disneyland?
We were supposed to go in 2020. That happened.
Yeah.
And then before that, I was there, I think it was 19. So 2019, we went just for a day. And then before that, it was 2015.
Okay.
So little bits here and there, here and there.
Yeah. Mhm.
So there's a bunch of stuff there that wasn't there before, right?
It's all different. It's all different.
What was your favorite part about the park?
Oh, my favorite thing is Tower. Well, it's not Tower of Terror there. Guardians of the Galaxy. That's
Mission
my favorite
Breakout.
ride.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I love Pixar Place, and when we were there, it was actually Pixar Fest.
Mhm.
So you take everything Pixar and then you multiply that times a million.
Oh, nice.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
You know, everything you do. Cars Land,
Yeah, that's amazing.
like they did a really great job.
Yeah. Yeah. They did fantastic with that.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
We made it 4 days. So it was originally just going to be 3. We stayed for 4.
Okay. And
Yeah.
did you do 4 park days as well?
Yeah, we did 4 park days. And I was ready to cry.
Did you do a park hopper? So were you going between the 2 parks? Okay. Yeah. It just makes
Yeah.
sense for Disneyland, really.
It's perfect for Disneyland.
They're so close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say 4 days, hold on. So we flew Tuesday. We didn't actually probably walk into the park till like 7 p.m. that night.
Right.
So it was like a short night, and then we did a full Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Got it.
So there you go.
Got it.
We got to do everything. We got to do World of Color. We got to do Fantasmic.
Mm-hmm.
We got to eat churros. The girls finally were like, we need a churro off. Let's try them everywhere and decide where they're the best. I was like, yes, I'm in for this. Like, whoever created that, I'm in.
And they're good at Disneyland, too.
They are very good.
Yeah.
The other thing, the ice cream. They still pack all their stuff on dry ice.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And so we got an ice cream, and we were in line to see characters, and we were still eating the ice cream before, like, it was still cold. I was like, what is this?
They do things so different between the 2 sides of the U.S. for those
It was
parks.
also probably not 98 degrees and 98% humidity.
That's
so,
true.
like,
But
let's
it's still
just
California summer. It's still hot.
it's
Why do you have to burst my bubble?
it's not a swamp, Alicia. It's
That's
very
just
different.
true.
Very true.
There's no alligators everywhere except for Lewis.
But I will say just the characters walking around.
Yes.
I know I remember that from being there in the past, and that's always been a thing. But like even in 2024, guys, they're just walking around. Like I was like, well, there goes Peter Pan,
Yep.
and like no one was attacking him or jumping. I mean, it was just there goes Peter Pan. Cool.
Geppetto
Nice to see
stole
ya.
a kid right in front of us as we were walking through Fantasyland.
I mean, why not?
Right. I mean, I don't know that I trust that guy, but yeah.
Yeah, some of our greatest character interactions are in Disneyland. Like the Mad Hatter just had a full-on conversation with Sterling and just grabbed his hand and started walking with him a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And when Galaxy's Edge opened up in there, he had another conversation with Ray, and the actress or the cast member looked just like Daisy Ridley. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went and saw Ariel. Well, we didn't know it was Ariel. We were doing the princess meet and greet.
Right.
And we went to see Ariel, and she's chatting with the girls, and she's like, what's your favorite part? And there's, by the way, was Star Wars. And she was like, Star Wars. I just love the Star Wars land. And Ariel goes, I'm sorry. Why are the stars at war? does Sebastian know about this? And it took us forever to figure out what she was doing. And then all of a sudden we literally are on the floor laughing. And she kept character the whole time. And
Yeah.
she was just dead serious about why the starfish were at war. And she just couldn't understand it. And she was about to go call Sebastian and see if he could take care of it. And I was
That's
like, I love
hilarious.
this.
No, they
amazing.
do such a good job. Such a good job.
Yeah, it was good.
What were some of your other kind of like big highlights from your days in the park?
The photo pass people were fantastic and would do like full on photo shoots with us. Also, this is a weird one. The security line at Disneyland, they always wanted to strike up a conversation with you.
Yes.
They were amazing. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm in security, right? Like this, normally you don't talk to me. Like what's going on? And one guy in particular, like picked up Heather's phone and was like, no, yep, I'm not coming in today. All right, thanks. And then handed her phone back to her, and Heather walks away. He goes, if he only knew. Like, if he only knew that she worked for the company and no, she wasn't coming in today. Like, they were just delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had a couple interactions similar to that with security folks too.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, Nathan, you mentioned that. I didn't hear it, but there was somebody in uniform or a hat or something like that from a military service.
Oh,
And-
yeah. And the one of the security guys, as the dude in front of me is walking past, just goes, "Hey, thank you for your service." And the guest didn't hear him, and he just goes kind of under his breath, or not. And, and I just
not.
busted out
fine.
laughing. He's like, "Yeah, that was pretty funny." I had another great conversation. We found in the park the Mickey pumpkin wreath as a
Oh, I
merch
saw you
thing.
post that.
Yeah. And like super stoked that we were able to find that. And I was walking back in because if you go to the Disney Home Store in downtown Disney, they will ship your merch home. It was like $10 to ship our stuff home. I'm like, sweet, do this. 'Cause now I don't have to worry about putting that in a suitcase or getting it destroyed in a bin on an airplane or something like that.
Yeah.
I just have to worry about UPS destroying it, but that's different. And and the as I was going through, the guy's like, "What you're returning this?" I was like, "No. I said I'm gonna go ship it." He's like, "They do that?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, how much is it?" I was like, "I have no idea, but I'll come back and let you know." And so I went and did it, and I was on my way back, and I saw him, and I walked up, and I say, "It's $10." He goes, "What? That's insane! My Christmas is going to be so different." And then he goes, "Hey, were you at D23?" Because this was like one of the couple days after D23, and I goes, "Yeah, we were there." He goes, "Did you get many pins?" I was like, "No, we didn't get a chance to do that." And he pulls a pin out of his pocket and gives me a pin that was like custom, like unique for D23.
awesome.
I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty special."
Yep.
Yeah. This is like next level.
Yeah. We also found that my knee set off all of the metal detectors. So
Yeah.
every single time my knee would set it off. So I'd let them know. And they're like, "Oh, you're Iron Man," or something. They just make all sorts of different clips going through. It was pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah. The TSA
amazing.
wasn't as amusing with that, but
Oh,
you know,
no.
They're still
it's
nice
fine.
though.
Yeah.
Life goals, I guess. They got some work to do.
Exactly. Now, I will say, as great as the security people are at Disneyland, I wish they would get the modern scanners that they have in Florida where you
Yes,
don't have to go through your bag.
I'm hoping that's coming, but I'm wondering if that's like California law or something.
It's not, and I can tell you how it's not,
You
because
looked it
when
up.
I went to when I was at the Star Wars convention, which was in Anaheim at the convention center, you just walked through with a bag. They had the scanners there. So it depends on the convention, because scanning for this convention center there for D23, you still had to do the regular Disney thing where they look through your bag.
Yeah.
So
It was
weird.
actually run by Disney Security,
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. It's another way that Florida and California parks are just, the resorts are different. And we were joking before we hit record. It was just, it's almost like it with some of these things. It's California or Florida goes, "Oh, they're doing that? Well, we're not doing that. There's no way I'm doing that." Just to
doing it.
spite us. Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
You know.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had mentioned earlier that you and Heather got to go off to a bar and let the girls do their own thing. Was that the only time, or did you have other times where it was just you and her chilling?
No, it was, we were always with the girls. But
Okay.
It was okay. They were great.
That's awesome.
We did use a lot of those mobile orders because you could walk by and pick up the beer. It was great. I did a lot of that. I should not have, but I did. And then I'm going to get somebody in trouble, and I don't mean it, but the resort bar, what is that?
Palm Breeze?
Nope, the one at the resort, Trader Sam's.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
up there too.
That's
So I
the
went to
other
the walk up. This
Yeah.
was like the first night we got there. All I needed in my life was a gin and tonic. So I went to the walk up bar, and she was still upstairs with the girls. And I was like, listen, I need 2 double gin and tonics. And the lady was like, okay, is there anything else I can get you? And I said, well, I'd take 4, but I'm pretty sure the rule is 2. And she goes, is there another adult in your party? First of all, I'm a little offended because yes, there is. Second of all, she's not with me right now. She's upstairs with the kids. So pretty sure she thought,
Yeah.
and was like, you look like you've had a rough day. I'll give you 3. And I was like, sold to the highest bidder. Here's my card. Take all my money. Thank you very much. Yeah. And then proceeded to walk that right into the park. So there you go.
It's all right. I got offered at that bar. We were having lunch there outside one afternoon, and I had the mojito, which is really, really good.
The mosquito mojito.
The mosquito mojito. And then I wanted something else, and nothing on that. That menu is good, but nothing else was really screaming my name. And the server just goes, hey, do you want a Navy grog? I'm like, what's that? She goes, you'll love it. I'm like, all right, fine. It was really good. It was really strong. It is definitely off menu. Yeah.
So it's not on the menu.
It's
It is
not on the
not on the
menu.
menu.
It's off menu, but it is a drink. I think you can ask for this at other places too. It's made with 3 different kinds of rum. I had to look up the recipe. So there is an actual Disneyland recipe for this. And it's 3 different kinds of rum. I think some lemon juice, honey, and something else, seltzer water, something.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was strong. Yeah.
It did not turn it into like Lookout or Castaway Key Day. It wasn't quite that bad, but that was a strong drink.
It was a strong drink.
That was a healthy pour.
Yeah, that was rum that day too. Thanks for that reminder.
We did on another day, by the way, rope drop Trader Sam's. We were the first guests in the door.
And by that you mean you had already been to the park and you came
Yes.
back to open the bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Just
rope
checking.
dropped the park.
Yep. And
That
then
day
rope
as well.
drop the bar.
And then rope dropped the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Why
Right.
wouldn't you?
Right. We're adulting here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we may have touched on this before, but I'm going to ask again.
Okay.
What were some of the biggest changes from the parks that stuck out to you from the last time you were there?
There's just been so much more construction, right? The
Yeah.
new Avengers or Marvel land. I had never seen any of that. So I got to ride the Spider-Man. Spider-Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Web
And I know they're
slingers.
adding more to it, but that whole land, they just did a really great job.
Yeah.
Again, with the characters walking around and shawarma. That's what I had
The
when I
shawarma,
ate there.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
shawarma looks just like the movie. So they did a great job. Obviously, I talked about Pixar. I love that because it's just so different. The food in California, from the sourdough to just the food options, they do a really great job.
Yeah.
I know they're catering to kind of a different clientele, but you can tell with the food quality.
Yeah.
The Disneyland side, I mean, Star Wars, which we have here, so I'm not degrading it, but it's
Yeah.
fantastic and the attention to detail is great. Disneyland for Heather and I is just enough similarity that we kept getting lost.
Yes. We do that all the time.
So I kept asking a cast member, like, how's the fastest way to get to Space Mountain? And everyone's looking at me and I'm like, I know I can see it, but I don't know how to get there. Like,
Yeah.
so, it's just some nuances that you have to kind of figure out as you go. But
Yeah.
they just do a really good job and the cast members are great. And it shows. Like, it's a
Yeah.
privilege to work there and they own it.
Yep. As a former Disney World cast member, what surprises you the most about how things are done in Disneyland?
I don't know that it's comparable. I mean, it is, but in Disney World, they're catering to the masses, right?
Yeah.
it's you just can't even fathom how many people are, in the resorts and at the park on that day. At Disneyland, it feels smaller, so you can pay more attention to the small things and give that one-on-one guest interaction. Like between the three of us, we just talked about probably 6 instances, right, that we remember just from that week.
Right.
Like I don't feel like you get that at World. It's just getting through people, and so I feel like that shows.
Do you think it's always been like that in Florida?
Yeah. That's just my opinion, but I mean, it's still a great product. Don't get me wrong, and I love it. And getting to see and do some things differently when I was in Disneyland, like I want to go back. Like I want to go back to Disneyland, but I also would love to just do a park here, right? To see if I have that same. It has that same effect, or nostalgia, if you will. Nostalgia.
Yeah. Maybe you should go back to studios, see what the studios is like.
I'm trying to go for somebody's birthday if he's listening in.
Hi, Bill.
Is there anything either from your trip or from your Disney history that we haven't touched on that you want to talk about?
Oh, that's an open-ended question.
It is. It's a very open.
Is there anything you want to say to the world? Rachel from HR has the forum.
Rachel from HR. I will say I'm very grateful for my time with Disney, but even outside of that, like the personal things that I've been able to do, experiences I've had, memories that I made, people I was with, places that we got to eat. Like, for example, our wedding rehearsal dinner was at Tony's Town Square. They don't do that.
Yeah.
And, someone knew someone, I think it was Bill, knew someone that was able to get us in there and let us do stuff like that. I had my own printed menu from Tony's Town Square.
Wow.
Like some of that stuff, like I've seen fireworks on New Year's Eve from the top of Wilderness Lodge. Some of that stuff, like you can't even make up, and you couldn't even recreate if you tried.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the memories, but just the time spent with people that you care about, right? And having that safe atmosphere to go and share those experiences with. Like you can't put a price tag on it. And so, I'll smile at the end of the day, and I'm still going back.
Yeah. So what is next?
We've got some birthdays to celebrate. Yeah. And then I am going on another cruise.
Oh,
hey.
Are you? When are you going on your next cruise?
In February, I believe.
Oh,
hey, us too.
Are you?
Huh. Funny how that works out. Maybe we'll see you on the ship.
Possibly, I'm thinking it's the new ship, right? So none of us have been on it before. Yeah. And where else would I have gotten the idea from? But yes, in February I'm going on the Disney ship.
Awesome.
What is it? The Treasure?
Treasure. Yeah.
Thank you. See, Treasure.
We'll just tell you where to show up. You just show up, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
Normally I'm the planner, and like in this case, like listen.
I'm going to spend so much money on merch on that ship. Oh my gosh.
You want all the merch?
Yeah, they have.
They have the rainforest room for a week.
Oh yeah, there's that too. No, they have like Haunted Mansion Lounge specific stuff. They have the 20,000 League Under the Sea bar specific merchandise and stuff like that. So,
okay. I would say I haven't seen all the merch stuff drop yet. I've just been, hounding my reservation.
Well, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us for your third appearance on our little podcast here.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm, absolutely. Again, 2 more times and you'll get the golden jacket. So,
all right, sign me up. I mean, I'll have to come back and talk about February, right?
That's right. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. We'll figure this out.
Even though you guys will have, lived the experience with me, you'll be much better storytellers, but it's fine.
Aw, shucks. All right, Rachel. Well, take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
We are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
Follow us on social at Our Mousecapades. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and even Twitter.
Please give us a rating and review in your podcast app. Those 5-star ratings and reviews absolutely help people find us.
And of course, don't hesitate to share us with your friends and fellow Disney lovers of all ages.
Thanks for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
And happy birthday, Nathan.
We got through
I'm not
this
going to
whole
sing because
episode.
nobody wants that.
Thank you very much. The anniversary of my 29th birthday is today. Yes, indeed.
You're 47.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And on that note, since I control the recording, bye-bye.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.